My name is Dermot and I'm 36 years old. Today I constantly live in terror. I've not been able to recover from an event that makes me shiver every day. I did not believe in legends, but after what happened to me 10 years ago, my vision of those creatures who say they live in hidden darkness is no longer the same. Now I'm always afraid that some monsters may appear in front of me. Yes, because it happened to me. I saw a terrifying creature. That distant day, I went to Ireland with my family and friends to celebrate Christmas. On this holiday, there were also my best friends, Vincent and Jimmy. It was a long time since we talked about visiting Ireland and its mysteries. We were very happy. We stayed in a little house in snowy mountains. I don't remember seeing a better view than that. You could see a lake in the distance, rivers, incredible landscapes, and especially the stars at night, a spectacle of nature. We spent a few relaxed days. We liked to walk around, and sometimes we went down to the village with the car to buy something. Everything was going well. We were 8 people in total. Me, my wife, my 2 children, Vincent and Jimmy and their wives. It all began one night, when I was sleeping. When I was asleep, I began to hear a distant song, a voice. I immediately thought it was a dream. Then I woke up. That voice came from afar. My wife was not with me. Then I immediately thought that she could be the one singing, even if it was very strange. I began to call her, then the singing voice stopped. I went down the stairs. Silence. I went to my children's room, and they were asleep. So I went up the stairs to Jimmy and Vincent's room. Silence. So I got dressed and I went out to look for her. She wasn't there. I went inside and I woke my friends. They helped me look for her in the house. And suddenly the voice started singing again. I leaned out of the terrace and I saw a figure in the distance, squatting down by the river. With heavy breath, I jumped from the terrace and without saying a word, I started running toward the river. As I got closer, I saw the figure with more details. I almost had a heart attack when I saw it was an old monstrous woman with rotten hair wrapped in a black tunic. I kept getting closer even though I was dying of fright. Then I saw that she was washing a dress. It was my wife's white nightdress. It was all covered in blood. I stopped about 5 meters from the old woman. She looked at me in the face, and at that moment I heard a very loud ringing in my ears and I stopped breathing for a while. Then I woke up. I was in the house and my wife was hugging me to calm down. I was sweaty and my heart was pounding. It was a nightmare. The next morning, I told my wife about the terrible nightmare. Then when I got out of bed, I saw that there was mud on the blankets. Strange. They were cleaned the day before. We had breakfast and we started cleaning the house before going out for a walk. That day I woke up. It was so weird. I almost felt nauseous. I couldn't stop thinking about that strange figure that I had that nightmare about. I went to check out the terrace. From that precise point, I saw the river where I had seen the monster in my dream. Suddenly, I fell to the ground, almost fainting. I began to breathe very heavy. I lacked breath and I felt my heart in my throat. I saw a white dress near the river. I started running to the river as fast as I could, and when I got there, I couldn't believe it. There was my wife's dress. It was clean and white and was not stained with blood as in my dream. With my shaking hands, I took the dress. It was wet, and then I noticed another chilling detail. A few meters from the dress, there was a footprint on the muddy snow. I checked it carefully and it looked just like mine. I was very confused, and right now I still am. Had I really been in that place that night? I went home with the dress and I called my wife. I asked her if what I had in my hands was her nightdress. She said it looked just like hers. Then she went to look through her stuff and then told me that her night dress had disappeared from the drawer. But there was one important thing to say, that the drawer was dirty, very dirty. It was red, it looked like blood. At that moment, I told my wife the dream, and it was all too strange. It seemed that someone really had entered our room. I called my friends and we started talking about what had happened. The mud on the blankets, the blood on the drawer, my wife's dress, the footprint at the bottom of the river, and finally we decided to leave. I'm a very paranoid person, so I preferred not to risk it. So at first we were trying to leave that night. In fact, that afternoon, after preparing all of our luggage, the car didn't start. The car battery had stopped working. Then we used a payphone to call for help. The problem was that it was snowing a lot and there was a strong wind. You couldn't see anything. The police told us that they would do what they could. Then the night came. The children fell asleep and we stayed in the living room to wait. Then at 2 a.m, we decided to go to sleep. Before I fell asleep, I could hear my wife's breath. I looked out of the window. The sound of the wind made me sleep. In my sleep, I felt that I woke up. I felt cold. I opened my eyes and the window in front of me was open and she was there. The woman from the river. She looked at me with the shining eyes from outside. She was holding my children's pajamas. I tried to get up, but I couldn't. I was stuck in my bed. Couldn't even move my head. I looked to my left and my wife wasn't even there. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. And then I don't remember anything. All I know is I woke up under the blankets thinking I've been dreaming again. But then I realized my wife wasn't there. I got up. The window was open. It had snowed inside the room. The old woman wasn't there. I can't describe the fear and terror that I felt. By the window, there were my children's pajamas stained with blood. I shouted as much as I could, called my wife and ran to my children's room. They weren't in their beds. I began to look for them. Vincent and Jimmy came immediately to help me. At this point of the story, I prefer to summarize the conclusion. That night, we did not find my wife nor my children. Then the police arrived around 5:30 in the morning and the investigation began. Hours later, they found the corpse of my children and my wife at the river. They had died of frostbite. The police could not understand what happened or if there was actually someone who would come into the house. There was not enough evidence. I never had that woman's dream or nightmares again, although I'm not sure if I really dreamed those nights. I don't know what to believe. I just know that I saw a spirit, the spirit of the being Nighe.